Hey, what's up guys? My name is Andrew. Welcome back to another video. Today's going to be a specific video specifically for UT students. With the illness that's going on around globally, I want to talk about what off-campus housing options are available for UT students. So this is going to be specifically for freshman students, current students, and transfer students. And I'm going to be keeping everyone up to date with what's going to be happening as UT starts to open up. On top of that, I also am a real estate agent, so I think it's my obligation to help UT students know their basic tenant rights. So sit back, relax, and if you guys don't mind, leave a like down below. Let's get right into the video. So as a quick update, UT recently announced their plans for fall 2020. Here's what you need to know. On May 20th, Fenvest announced that UT will be reopened on August 26th for the semester. After Thanksgiving break, the remainder of the semester will be taken online, which means the last few weeks of lecture will have to be taken on a computer, as well as finals. In-person commencement ceremonies will be postponed until 2021, where graduates will have the chance to attend. The next major update was made on June 3rd, where 20% of the classes will be taken online and in-person classes will be at 40% capacity. To put that into perspective, 11,000 classes will be held for fall 2020 and 2,100 will be taken online. On June 8th, A&M and UT announced that face masks will be a requirement when you're entering inside campus buildings. That's all we currently have for now. I'll link the articles down in the description below if you guys want to check that out. So if y'all are planning to lease for off-campus next semester, here are some things that you will need to know about each neighborhood. So off-campus housing is divided into 6 different neighborhoods. The first neighborhood being the most popular for UT students, especially for undergrads, and that is West Campus. Typically, it's really close to campus, there's tons of Greek life, and usually it's really loud, especially during the weekends. Since West Campus is so close to UT, and the demand is really high, the rental rates are going to be a little bit above national average, typically ranging from $750 to upwards to $1,000. Now West Campus is my personal preference since it's so close to the campus, so walking is not a problem. On top of that, the nightlife is absolutely amazing, and if you want the college experience, West Campus is definitely the spot. Now the only downside to West Campus is the lack of grocery outlets such as H-E-B. But if you eat out a lot and that's not a problem for you, Guadalupe Street has lots of options that you can choose from. The second most popular neighborhood is North Campus. You'll be entering North Campus after crossing East Dean Keaton Street, which is right above UT's law school. I would recommend this neighborhood for law students and engineering students since these buildings tend to be north of campus. North Campus is going to be a little bit more quieter since most of the Greek life is located in West Campus, the exceptions being Pi Kappa Phi and Delta Tau Delta, which are both located right next to each other. The population is made up of engineering students, seniors, graduate students, and faculty members. Yes, faculty members, so you will have the highest chance of seeing your professor. The third neighborhood is Hyde Park, which is north of North Campus. So, North Campus. And it's typically going to be a little bit further away from UT campus. The properties tend to be newer and not as high in demand as West Campus, so it's going to be typically a little bit cheaper. There's an H-E-B off of I-35 next to Hancock Center. The student body is similar to North Campus, but it's just further away from UT campus. Now, if you bought your own vehicle to UT, then Hyde Park would definitely be a great option. And typically, I would recommend public transportation, but with the illness being rampant and the recent spike in cases, I wouldn't take the risk, so I wouldn't recommend it. The fourth neighborhood is Riverside, which is south of the lake. The housing prices are definitely more affordable and slightly below national averages. The population is mainly undergrad and graduate students. Again, same situation as Hyde Park. If you have a vehicle, it's a great option. On days without traffic, it's typically about 15 minutes from UT campus to Riverside, and on bad days it's about 20 to 25 minutes, but it really depends on what time you're driving at. Again, I wouldn't recommend public transportation at the moment since the illness is still rampant, and if you do, then take that at your own risk. The fifth neighborhood is Far West Campus. The drive is about 20 to 25 minutes from UT campus west of Texas 1 Loop. The cost of living should be relatively cheaper since it's further away from UT campus, and there's typically not too many UT students that live in Far West Campus, but other than that, I really don't know too much about the neighborhood. The last neighborhood is East Campus, east of I-35. Again, I don't know too much about this place, but I do know that not many UT students live in East Campus, and the population is mostly going to be adults and former graduate students, so the nightlife should be a little bit quieter. Again, the pricing should be a little bit cheaper since it's further away from campus. So for neighborhood tips at UT Austin, I would recommend two things to take into consideration along with the illness. The first one is transportation. How long is it going to take to get you from point A to point B? And typically, if you have a place in mind, then you can just Google the address on Google Maps and then find how far away it is from your classes. For example, neighborhoods like North Campus and West Campus are close to UT, so you can just walk or bike to your classes relatively quickly. Other neighborhoods such as Riverside and Hyde Park are going to be farther away from campus, so having a car is recommended. For public transportation, I would typically recommend it since it is free for UT students as long as you carry your UT ID. However, with the illness that's still going on around globally and it's still rampant, I wouldn't recommend it at the moment. The second consideration is location. Is your neighborhood a safe place to live? I know in West Campus, there's tons of cops around that patrol the neighborhood, and they typically are good with updating students with any safety issues. I would also check out City Protect to see all the police reportings. You can also see what type of activity is happening, such as violence, robberies, and even track sex offenders. Other things you should keep in mind is local restaurants, grocery outlets such as H-E-B, nightlife, and mail delivery. Now for individual properties, here are my 5 recommended tips. If you find the place you would like to pre-lease, always check the property physically because the photos don't do the property any justice. Most of the property photos are taken on a phone. It's usually grainy and it's pretty shitty, like this property, for example. Now the property is actually relatively decent. The photos don't do any justice. It's pretty grainy, pretty bad, and I would actually recommend the property to some of the clients myself. Now there are some places like this where the property photo is actually relatively decent. But let me show you the video I took of the property. Yeah, so it's pretty bad. That's an understatement. And there's no central AC unit, so I wouldn't recommend it to any of my clients. Second, if you know the property management for the specific property, ask them as many questions as possible, including any additional fees, such as utilities, is it furnished or unfurnished, is it pet friendly, application costs, renter's insurance, and direct deposits. Typically, the security deposit is equal to 1 month's worth of rent, and if you have roommates, then you can split it among each other evenly. Sometimes the security deposit will be a little bit less depending on the property manager, but you should get this money back. The security deposit is just to make sure it's used as collateral if you damage the property. Third, do a quick Google search of the property management company itself. Look at the reviews and see why people rate it the way they did, because some management companies are better than others. Fourth, know your tenant rights. Typically, college students don't know this, but when an owner rents out a place, they actually have to give up some of the rights to you. This is called the bundle of rights, and typically when you're the owner, you have all these rights. The first right is the right to exclusion. You get to decide who you want on your property, and if someone enters your property without permission, that's called trespassing. The second right is the right to possession. You get to occupy the place and no one can tell you otherwise. Unless it's the government, then that's eminent domain. The third right is the right to disposition. You get the choice on how you want to transfer the ownership of your property, whether be it selling, leasing, or even willing it to someone. The fourth right is the right to quiet enjoyment. You get to do whatever you want on that property in legal terms, and no one can tell you otherwise. But as a property owner, if you lease it to someone, then you have to give up some of those rights. And the tenant gets the right to exclusion, possession, and quiet enjoyment. However, with the right to exclusion, the property owner can typically visit the property while you're occupying it, just as long as they give you a good amount of time as a notice. Last of all, read the contract, read through all of it, and read the fine print as well, because sometimes they hide fees and things that you don't want. If you don't understand something, let me know, because I'm a real estate agent and it's my obligation to help other UT students. The last thing you want is to be binded to a contract because you didn't read it. Now, there are two major essential rights that I think every tenant should know, and this is throughout the United States, not just Texas. The first right is owners and property managers can't discriminate against you. And what I mean by that is not just the color of your skin, but your sex, your gender, familial status, age. Unless you're under 18, then that might be a problem. But if you suspect something like that, file a complaint, because they shouldn't be doing that in the first place. It's pretty fucked up. Like, the second right is that the property should be in safe conditions. There shouldn't be any infestations, there shouldn't be any open wires, and there should be running water with a heater. Now, if the owner refuses to fix the AC unit or the water heater, then you can actually withhold your rent and break the lease. You can also file a complaint to a local building inspector. Next, here are some of my recommended things you should do as a good tenant. When you move in, make sure you take pictures of the unit itself and make sure the picture has a timestamp. If you find any damages, tell the management company and have the pictures as well. When the real estate agent is showing you different properties, take pictures on your phone so you have a general idea of what the property looks like. On the day you move in, change your address so package deliveries and mail end up in the right mailbox, because the last thing you want is your check to end up in the wrong address. Have renter's insurance. Most property managers actually require this, but I would recommend Lemonade. It's $5 a month, and I'm not affiliated with them, but I'll leave that in the description below if you guys want to check that out. I would also check out Lynette's YouTube channel as well. She offers some pretty good insight at UT, and she graduated last semester, and she also used to be a real estate agent at my same brokerage. I'll link her YouTube channel down below, as well as some of her recommended videos. If you have any questions or you want any help finding off-campus housing, shoot me an email. The service is free and I get paid by management companies. I would also recommend Zach and Alfred. They're some of the best agents at UT as well. And that wraps up the video. All the information can be found in the description below. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, like and comment down below. If you didn't, leave a dislike. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. If you want 2 free stocks on Webull, link down in the description, sign up, create an account, deposit $100, and you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. And hook